Hey everyone, my name is Oshun the Great, and welcome to my beautiful, beautiful channel. It is so beautiful in Sacramento today. I need to get outside actually, but I'm just now getting dressed and stuff. But today I did want to touch on sugar daddies, but I also included like sex workers and just being taken care of in general. I kind of wanted to touch on why people have those desires and the fact that it's okay to have these desires, because a lot of people want to belittle sugar babies and sex workers, and I'm so pro sugar daddies and sugar daddy dating. So if you guys don't like that viewpoint, you might want to click out now. But if you want to stick around and listen to what I have to say, by all means do so. Now, this was kind of inspired by my own desire. And for some of you who don't know, I am a psychic medium. I'm a spiritualist. I am very goal driven as far as like wanting to go to school, wanting to own my own business and have an empire, things like that. But I also have, and yes, I'm a feminist and all of that, but I also have this innate desire to be taken care of. And a lot of women do. And it's something that's been ingrained in us since like way, way back. It's such a thing. It's very traditional way of looking at things, like men provide and women receive. And I know for a fact in my nature I am a receiver. And some people in their nature they are givers. And so there are relationships that work perfectly fine off that dynamic, giving and receiving. That is the happiest union for some people. Now, some people will disagree that, oh, you shouldn't want someone for their money, such and such, this and that. To each his own. There's no right way to live, and I always say that in videos. But for me, my desire to want to be taken care of is just smart. It's just, to me, wanting to have a family, wanting to have a provider, a safe space to grow and have kids and not worry about financial well-being is ideal, and that's everyone's ideal. And unfortunately, a lot of people can't provide that, or so they bash people who want these desires. Everyone's desire is valid. It's just a matter of finding someone who matches your viewpoint. For example, if you want someone who shares your house 50-50, you wouldn't get a girl that you date and she wants a sugar daddy or wants a man to provide for her. You just wouldn't do that because that's false advertising. And vice versa. If you are, and not only women can do this, men can have sugar mamas as well. So I don't want to hear all that, oh, well, it's not fair. Women get to do this and that. Like you can find, if you really desire something, you can make it happen. A lot of times I have been told, like I've always been told in my whole life to get a rich man. And I've always knew eventually in my path, I will be married to a rich man. That's just how I feel. That is my destiny, I feel like. But I hide my desire because people try to shame it. Just like slut shaming, just like sex workers get shamed for doing what they do. But again, I feel like it's smart and your desires are always valid. But where was I going? I'm kind of everywhere right now. I need to eat. But so don't ever let anyone make you feel like this desire is bad, because you are worthy. And if you know your worth as a woman, you will feel the exact way I do. Like, I understand my worth as a woman, and I understand what people will and won't do for me. And I feel like if people won't do certain things for me, they just can't they don't fit what I'm looking for. And everyone can put these standards on people and what they will and will not stand for. And just because my ideal may be different from a lot of people doesn't mean it's wrong. There was a J. Cole lyric that says, basically he talked about women who only go after men who have money because they don't want to spend their life slaving. And that's reality. If you don't have to, why it's kind of like thinking smart, thinking and growing rich, or thinking smart instead of working harder. And a lot of people want to challenge the reality, like, oh, your beauty will fade. There will always be someone who is willing to take care of you. It's just that dynamic of someone who wants to give and someone who wants to receive. It's like a circle of, like, that's the harmony of the relationship. And gosh, there's so much to touch on with this. So what else can I touch on with this? That I know people have issues with that because they can't provide it. They'll just bash it all the time. And that's kind of unfair, because it's like, if someone's looking for that, you don't have no right to like bash them or get in their way. Because if you had something, a dream that someone wanted to pursue, then like, why would you stand in their way? My experience with sugar daddy dating is like, the first time I had this realization, like, I've always been ingrained by my mother, oh, you should just marry like a football player or get a rich man and stuff like that. And I've done a lot of research. I'm gonna be honest. I've done a lot of research of, you know, how to date, like in getting a rich man and stuff like that. And my experience with that is that a lot of dating websites geared towards that are like ripoffs, because you have a lot of men who go on there and they think that women are like, they post it like escorting, and then they don't even respect the woman from that perspective. And a lot of men have this misconception, just because a woman want to be taken care of, that they are lesser than. I feel like it's just the man's point of view and to women in general. Again, sugar daddy and sugar baby dating should be a respectful, mutual, beneficial relationship. It shouldn't be a man approaching it from like the woman is lesser than. No, a man should be approaching it as, okay, I see this beautiful woman. She's smart, intelligent. I want to provide for her, whether it's for school, for whatever, like companionship, for, you know, I want her to have my kids. It's a lot more that goes into it than people think. And again, you have people mixing in it that have no business in that terrain. What else can I touch on that? My experience is that the websites are crap, because again, the men who can't afford that lifestyle or to give women that lifestyle want to always play false advertisement. So I don't know if I want to give advice to sugar daddy dating, because I'm not a pro at it. Obviously, I'm just coming into my being comfortable in my desire. But I guess some of the tips I learned is that, like, you can't really get obsessed about all the blogs and stuff you see about sugar daddy dating, because everyone is different. And honestly, you have to become your greatest version and work on self-love and become your greatest self to even attract the man you want, whether it's a good man or a rich man or whatever the case may be. A lot of that can be done in person or just by your presence, meaning how you take care of yourself, if you work out, if you eat well, if you maintain how you look, good maintenance, things like that. Because believe it or not, like, men, you will attract what you're looking for eventually. It's just a matter of standing your ground and weeding out the people who don't fit your list or your perspective. Like, you can, I don't think people understand that you can date. Not all rich men are automatically going to be good men, obviously, but you can choose to date, whether you want to date broke, quote unquote, broke men, or you can put your standards higher and only date within a different terrain that opens your whole horizon up. And that is okay. But then there might be things that you have to do in order to get up on that level, like maybe go back to school, maybe try to learn how to get in that kind of terrain to have those more prospectors in the style of dress you wear, how you present yourself, confidence. You have to learn how to speak, all these things that I still need work on myself. And that the internet is not the end all be all. Obviously, Tinder is a big thing these days. A lot of men have caught on that a lot of women who want sugar daddies use Tinder. And a lot of men are frustrated by that because you have a lot of average Joes on there. What else? My thing is, though, it's more so in person and building the confidence to kind of like have eye contact, speak to people and things like that. But you can use the internet. You just have to state what you're looking for. And once you do that, you can weed out the people who kind of like don't fuck with you. But like, I have learned that being upfront in the beginning is what you need to do, because if you date like you're trying to just get a rich boyfriend or a provider boyfriend, and they figure out later on like, oh, like maybe they didn't know you really wanted a sugar daddy relationship and they probably like caught off guard, it's best to just tell someone up front what you're looking for, and then weed out the people who don't want to fuck with you. But it still doesn't mean your desires aren't valid. And I hate giving tips like, because I'm still not so comfortable myself yet. But if you are a woman who wants to get these men, like, your first question will be like, if they ask you on a date, you can be like, okay, can we go shopping on my first date? And like if they say no or they don't respond, then like that's not really what you're really looking for, because again, you're looking for a giver and someone who willingly wants to treat you. And if they're being stingy with their money, like there's a red flag there. If they're being like any type of way about you, like not like, especially I feel like it's a red flag when men are being stingy with their money in general, even average Joes, like because then that means like they don't really value your worth that way or whatever. And it's like I feel like men who want a wife who stays at home with their kids, because at one point, if you're a man who wants kids, like you want your woman at home with your kids. So if he doesn't view you worthy enough of staying home now and taking care of you now, then like why would he do that when you add kids to the picture? Like if you don't see yourself working a 9 to 5 and coming home to your kids and shit like that, then no, fuck that. So again, it's okay to have these desires, but this is obviously my viewpoint. And a lot of people might bash this, and that's fine. But again, it's a worth thing. Like it's a like, once you view yourself as $1 million, that's what the fuck you're gonna receive. And for me, I wholeheartedly believe that. And people may not see that now, but eventually they'll understand. But yeah, that's my little viewpoint on that. I touched on sugar daddies. My experience with it is just like, I'm still in the learning process. I understand that like things I have to do to level up. It's all about leveling up and loving yourself, and then you attract, what you're looking for. But as far as sex work, I noticed that a lot of people bash sex work. Like they'll praise porn stars, but when it comes to meeting sex workers in person, they bash prostitutes, they bash strippers. So it's like you can't have it both ways. You can't just treat women like shit. Either you love all women or you don't love women at all. So it's like you can't try to test these women and be like, oh, well, if you were really wife material, you wouldn't do this. Man, you don't know what the fuck these women would do if you wife them and you spend money on them. You don't know how these women will pay you back in return, not just in sex, but in treating you well. It's just a mutual beneficial relationship, which is any relationship. And I feel like marriage, for example, is a contract. Like you want to know what you're getting yourself into. And it's just smart. It's a business plan. And it works out for both of you. And honestly, if you were like me and you want to be a businesswoman, you want a man who's like a businessman or successful and can make negotiations and come to agreements and understand life on deeper levels. Because we are, yes, we're spiritual beings, but we are in the physical realm. And like, I don't know, I feel like men who get it, and men who don't, just won't. And women too. Women bash other women for wanting these desires. I get bashed every day for wanting these desires. And that's another story time of how I got tricked into a situation that I didn't really want. But again, it's about being upfront with your desires. But yeah, with that being said, I just wanted to like squash all the stigma around like, oh, you can't like men who like, I feel like men only who can't provide for women will make women feel bad. Because if guys, be dope, be you unapologetically. Peace.